Welcome back, everybody. If you've been here for a while, you know that we talk about health and nervous system and self awareness, spiritual growth, and cultural things, and what it really means to become stronger without having to become hard. And today I wanted to talk about something that I think that so many people are living through, but they may not have the words for it yet, and that is confusion. So not the normal kind of confusion where you're learning something new or you're making a big decision or you're just figuring life out. I mean that kind of confusion that sits in your body. That kind of confusion that starts making you second guess your own memory, or when you have to over explain yourself, or when you apologize just to keep the peace. You replay conversations in your head for days. You know that something does not feel right, but you cannot quite explain it without somebody making you feel like you're dramatic or emotional or too sensitive or maybe even paranoid or difficult. And I want to say this right from the beginning. You are not stupid because you feel confused. You are not weak because you stayed in something longer than you wanted to. And you are not broken because your body is tired. Sometimes confusion is not a lack of intelligence. Sometimes it is what happens when you have been living in mixed messages, pressure, unpredictability, fear, comparison, digital overstimulation, or even systems that do not truly see the whole of you. Okay, the whole of you. So I want to be clear too. This video is not about diagnosing people. I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist. And I'm not here to throw labels around either. I'm not here to tell you that every difficult person is a narcissist or every disagreement is abuse or every system is evil. But I am here to talk about patterns because you do not need a clinical label to recognize that something is hurting your mind, your body, and your peace, even your safety. You do not need a clinical label or diagnosis to understand your safety, your confidence, your family, your culture, your faith, or even your ability to trust your own self. And I want you to stay with me to the end because I'm going to give you 5 things that I want you to remember about yourself. And I want you to stand in front of the mirror if you can. And I want you to put your hand on your heart. I want you to hear those words deeply enough so that your logical mind can finally start supporting your emotional body. Because it does not matter how many times you think or say things over and over again. If it does not pass your analytical mind into your heart, your body will not feel it. Okay? Thoughts are the language of the mind, feelings are the language of the body, and how we think is how we feel, and how we feel is how we act. And our personal reality, that creates our personality. Sorry, it actually creates our personality. So, because your mind can understand something long before your nervous system believes it, and healing is one of those 2 parts of you when you actually begin to work together again with it. So, let's just start with the human body. Before we get into relationships or social media, manipulation or systems or anything else, I want you to just take a moment to notice something. Your heart is beating right now. Your lungs are breathing right now. Your eyes blink without you having to command them to do so. And your body is carrying you through this moment, even if you're exhausted, even if you are grieving, even if you feel like you're overwhelmed, or even if you do not know what the next step is in your life. Your body, your body is still here, trying to keep you alive. And I think we forget that. We live in a world of machines and notifications, artificial intelligence, scrolling, opinions, advertisements, fast food, fast relationships, fast judgment, fast outrage. We have so much information coming to us that we forget that we are not machines. We are human beings. We are emotional beings, spiritual beings, relational beings, cultural beings. We are people connected. And we are connected to our ancestors, our children, our communities, our land, our water, our stories, our belief, and our future generations. And when you become disconnected from that, you become easier to influence. Did you hear what I said? When you become disconnected from those things, you become easier to influence. You become easier to sell to. You become easier to frighten. You become easier to distract. You even become easier to convince that you are not enough. And that is why I'm coming back to your body. It's not just about self-care. It's about self-acknowledgement. It's about discernment, and it's about protection. Because before you can clearly see who or what is affecting you, you have to be able to hear yourself again. There is a difference between being challenged and being controlled. There is a difference between healthy conflict and a pattern that leaves you questioning whether you are allowed to have a reality on your own. Healthy relationships can have disagreements. Healthy people can make mistakes. Healthy families can have hard conversations. And healthy workplaces can have tension. None of us are perfect. But healthy relationships have room for repair. They have room for accountability. They have room for you to say, that hurt me, without being punished for it. They have room for you to have a boundary without somebody turning it into proof that you are selfish, ungrateful, crazy, disloyal, or hard to love. When someone consistently denies what happens, when they change the story, they blame you for their behavior, they make you responsible for their emotions, they isolate you from support, they threaten to withdraw their love, they monitor you, they pressure you, they intimidate you, or make you feel like your piece is something that you have earned, your nervous system, it notices all of that. Even when your mind and your mouth are making excuses, your body notices the tone. Your body notices the silence. Your body notices the look on somebody's face. It notices the whole hot and cold behavior. It'll notice when you're walking on eggshells with that feeling in your heart. It notices when you are changing your personality just to avoid a reaction. It notices when you are lying awake at night, trying to work out that version of yourself that might be safest tomorrow. And when that happens over and over and over again, your body can start living as if it's through danger all the time. Your body may feel like there are lions and tigers and bears right in your vicinity when there isn't. It can look like anxiety, brain fog, forgetfulness, panic, numbness, exhaustion. People will have trouble sleeping, trouble eating, trouble making actual really good decisions, especially critical decisions. You'll get the feeling of guilt for the resting. You'll feel unable to leave your phone alone. You'll feel disconnected from your own voice. And that is not your body betraying you. That is your body trying to protect you. Now, in 2024, an Australian-led review of 45 studies found that coercive control was associated with post-traumatic stress and depression. That matters because it tells me something important. Patterns of control, intimidation, isolation, and psychological manipulation have real impacts on people's mental health. So if you're struggling to think clearly in an environment that keeps you on edge, please hear me. You have a response that will make sense. Your body will give you that. And it may be information. It may be your nervous system saying, I need safety. I need clarity. I need support. I need rest. I need someone to believe me. And that does not mean you have to diagnose anybody. You do not have to prove somebody's intention before you take serious impact that something is having on you. And that is a big one. You do not have to prove that they meant to confuse you before you take seriously the fact that you feel confused. I'm going to repeat that. You do not have to prove that a person meant to confuse you before you take seriously the fact that you feel confused. And why does that confusion matter so much? Because a person who trusts themselves is harder to control. A person who trusts their memory is harder to manipulate. A person who has healthy support around them is harder to isolate. A person who understands their body is harder to keep in panic. And a person who can say, I need time to think, is harder to pressure. You know, a person that actually knows their value, it's harder to buy, flatter, shame, threaten, or actually guilt them into becoming somebody they're not. And that is why clarity is so powerful. Clarity does not mean you know everything. It does not mean you become cold or suspicious of everybody. It does not mean you walk around thinking the whole world is against you. No, clarity means you become present. You look at the behavior, not just the words. You listen to your body without handling your life over to fear. You ask questions. You take your time. You remember that love does not require you to disappear. You remember that loyalty without truth is not loyalty. It is self-abandonment. And you remember a person who genuinely loves you does not need you to be confused in order to stay connected to you. Do you hear me? Remember that a person who genuinely loves you does not need you to be confused in order for you to stay connected. Now, I also need to say something that is bigger than one individual relationship. Not every force that keeps you confused is a person standing in front of you. Sometimes it's social media. Sometimes it's an algorithm that has learned what will make you angry, what will make you insecure or afraid or outraged or lonely or jealous or sexually stimulated, emotionally activated or unable to put your phone down. Sometimes it's a news cycle that keeps you in fear. Sometimes it's comparison. Sometimes it's constant consumption of conflict. And sometimes it's binge scrolling at 2 o'clock in the morning when your body is begging for rest. Sometimes it's highly stimulated content that makes life feel real, slow, ordinary, or not enough. And sometimes it's a system that tells you your pain is only an individual problem to be managed, while ignoring your culture, your family, your community, your land, your history, and your faith, and the collective conditions that you actually live inside. And I want to be very clear, I'm not saying that every Western system is bad. I'm not saying that every person working for the government or healthcare, education, justice, housing, or social services have bad intentions. I know. I have worked in many of those industries in my past career. There are good people doing meaningful work everywhere. But we have to be honest enough to say that systems are built without Indigenous worldviews. And at the centre, it's failing our people. And it's not just Indigenous, it can be other cultures, whatever resonates with you. They can treat an intergenerational, spiritual, cultural, relational, and collective wound as though it's only an individual issue. They can say, here is a form, here is an appointment, here is a waiting list, here is a prescription, here is a process. And sometimes those things are helpful, sometimes they are needed, but sometimes they're not fucking good enough. Because healing was never meant to happen in isolation. And for many people, healing has always been connected to the whenua, to the land, to the country, to water, to movement, to food, to language, to kinship, to community, to ceremony, to prayer, to elders, to truth-telling and to laughter, to grief, to children, to belonging. There is wisdom and understanding that you are not separate from everything around you. You are not just a case number. You are not just a diagnosis. See, even the birds are agreeing with me. You are not just a consumer or a client. You are a whole human being. And when we are disconnected from wholeness, we can start looking outside ourselves for every single answer. We can start thinking that somebody else knows us better than we know ourselves. We can become dependent on systems, influencers, partners, family members, gurus, leaders, online strangers to tell us how we feel, what we believe, who we are, and what we should do next. And that's why your discernment is so important, and it matters. Not paranoia, discernment. And there is a difference. Paranoia tells you nobody is safe. Discernment asks, who has earned access to me? What is this message doing to my body? Excuse me. Discernment does ask, who has earned access to me? What is this message doing to my body? Does this leave me clearer or more confused? Does this strengthen my agency or does it just make me more dependent? Does this bring me back to myself or does it pull me further away from myself? And I want to say something directly to the people who watch me. The more times you watch somebody online, the more times you hear their voice, you see their face, you listen to their story, and you take in their message, the more familiar they can become. They become to feel to you. That's really powerful. That can be beautiful when it leads you towards healing, truth, community, education, self-respect, and better choices. But it can also be very dangerous if you stop questioning the person, the message, or the system that is giving you that attention, and that you're giving your attention to as well. And I want you to question me too, okay? When it comes to you looking at me and watching me and following me and commenting and liking or not liking, take what helps you, leave what does not. Don't let my words offend you. If it helps you, then take that on. Do your own research. Talk to safe people that are in your real life. Speak to a counsellor, a GP, a trusted elder, a spiritual leader, a health professional, a community worker, a domestic violence service, or someone who understands the context that you're actually living in, because that's what real support really looks like. Don't make me be your own source of truth. Don't make other people on the internet your only source of truth. I do not want followers who are dependent on me. I want digital warriors who can think, who can feel, who can pray, who can pause, who can research, who can ask better questions, who can love deeply without abandoning themselves, because that's the real goal. Now let's talk about the audit. I really want you to start auditing what is entering your system. I want you to start auditing what is entering your system. Who are you watching? Who are you listening to? What are you reading? What are you hearing? What are you even thinking? What are you feeling? Who are you believing? Because all of this is shaping you. And I'm not saying that you need to become perfect. I am not saying never scroll, never watch a show, never enjoy entertainment, never have a lazy day, never make a mistake. I'm saying become conscious. If someone's content constantly makes you hate your body, question your worth, mistrust everybody, compare your life, feel sexually disconnected, feel chronologically behind, feel afraid, feel angry, or feel like you need to spend money to become lovable, notice that. If you are consuming extreme content that leaves you disconnected from your values, your relationships, your compassion, or even just your ability to be present, notice that. If you are engaging with social media in a way that makes you feel worse every day, notice that. If you are listening to people who are always feeding you outrage but never giving you practical ways to build your life, notice that. Your attention is valuable. Your attention is not free just because an app does not charge you money. You are paying with your time, with your wairua, with your attention, with your energy. You are paying with your nervous system, with your focus. And sometimes you are paying with your ability to hear your own intuition. Oh gosh, that nearly made me cry. Sometimes you are paying with your own inability to hear your own intuition. Don't give that away. So before you consume more, ask yourself, is this helping me become more clearer, more connected, more passionate, more informed, more sovereign? Or is this keeping me more fearful, more reactive, more dependent, more distracted, more disconnected? Because if you cannot question yourself, someone will do your thinking for you. If you cannot question yourself, someone else will do your thinking for you. And no, I'm not saying become paranoid. I'm saying become present. There is a difference. So what do we do? What do we do when we realize we've been confused, overwhelmed, manipulated, dysregulated, disconnected from ourselves? We return. We return slowly. We return practically. We return with compassion. And here are 5 ways that I want you to take. Not as perfection, not as punishment, but as a sacred system reset. First, acknowledge your body. Put your hand on your chest and on your stomach and on your heart and take a deep breath. And I want you to say, my heart is breathing, my lungs are breathing, I am here. You do not have to solve your whole life in one moment. You just have to come back to this moment. When your body is activated, your mind will often demand an immediate answer. It will tell you to text back, explain yourself, scroll more, spend more money, fix everything, get reassurance, argue your case, make a huge decision. But pause. You're allowed to take time. It's okay. The second one is audit the input. Ask yourself, what am I allowing to shape my emotional state today? Maybe you need to mute somebody. Maybe you need to stop reading comments in the sections. Maybe you need to take a little break from watching content that leaves you spiraling. Maybe you need to sleep before you reply. Maybe you need to eat, drink water, move your body, go outside, sit under the sun, go by the river, hug a tree, be by the land if you can. Sometimes regulation is not glamorous. Sometimes it's just food, water, sleep, sunlight, movement, breath, and no longer arguing with people committed to misunderstanding you. Number 3, you've got to return back to what's real. Reality is not always what is the loudest. Reality can be a conversation with someone that's trustworthy. Reality can be reading your own message back. Reality can be writing down what happened while you can remember it. Reality can be a prayer. It can be looking at the facts without adding shame to them. It can be standing barefoot on the ground and remembering that you belong here. It can be your children laughing. It can be your own voice saying, this does not feel right. And that is all okay. Number 4, I want you to question the pattern. Do not just ask, was this one moment bad? Ask, what is the pattern? Do I feel clearer after engaging with this person, this platform, this system, or this message? Or do I feel more confused? Do I feel more like myself? Or do I feel less like myself? Can I actually say no safely? Can I disagree safely? Can I ask a question safely? Do I have to shrink? Do I have to perform? Do I have to pretend? Do I have to, pretend and speak somebody else's language, to people please them? Do I have to over-explain or betray my own values just to remain connected? Patterns tell the truth over time. Watch them. See them. And number 5, you've got to choose consciously. Conscious means to be awake. It means to know. Your life will change when you start giving more attention to what restores you than what drains you. Choose the people that can actually hold your truth, not just say that they can. They can hold it. Choose context that expands your mind without destroying your own peace. Choose routines that make your body feel safer. Choose support. Choose your health. Choose your children. Choose your work. Choose your culture. Choose your faith. Choose rest. Choose a version of you who does not have to be in survival mode just to feel alive. And before we finish, I just want to be more direct in this piece. I want you to go and look in the mirror if you can. And I want you to close your eyes. Put your hand on your heart. One hand on your belly. And let your body hear these words. You may need to repeat them after me. But the first thing is that I want you to remember this. My body is not my enemy. It is my first sacred system. My body has been carrying me. My body has been trying to protect me. My body is allowed to rest. My body is allowed to soften. My body is allowed to learn to be safe again. My body is allowed to smile on the inside and out. And the second thing I want you to remember is this. I am not too sensitive for noticing what hurts. My feelings are information. I do not have to shame myself from being affected. I can care deeply and still have boundaries. I have a soft heart and a strong mind. And the third thing that I want you to remember is this. Confusion does not make me stupid. Confusion can be the response to mixed messages, pressure, fear, grief, trauma, overstimulation, and emotional unpredictability. I can slow down. I can ask questions. I can return to the evidence. And I can take my experience seriously. And the fourth one that I want you to remember is this. I'm allowed to question people, systems, messages, and patterns without abandoning myself. I can question what I watch. I can question what I am told. I can question what is normalized around me. And I can question what has been passed down to me. The fifth one that I want you to remember is this. I am still worthy of safe, soft, honest love. I do not need to earn clarity. I do not have to earn respect. I do not have to earn gentleness. I do not have to perform pain for people to believe I deserve care. I am worthy because I am here. I am worthy because I am human. I am worthy because I am alive. Take one of your favorites, take them all. Speak truth. Speak the real truth into you. Don't be shy. Look at yourself in the mirror. Because if you can't look at yourself, why would anybody else want to? Your clarity is your power. Your attention is sacred. Your body deserves a life where it does not have to survive every conversation, every notification, every relationship, every system, every room, every version of you that you had to become just to get through the day. Come back to yourself. Come back to your breath. Come back to your values. Come back to your people and come back to the land. Come back to your faith and come back to the part of you that still knows you are never meant to disappear just to make somebody else comfortable. You do not have to answer to everything every day, but you can begin asking better questions. And you can begin by remembering that you are allowed to become clear. You are allowed to become well. And you are allowed to become free. Yeah, that's my message for you today. And remember, stay flat-footed on the ground. Never look back, okay? Keep walking forward. And, go hug a tree today if you can, okay? Because without them, we wouldn't be able to breathe. Yeah. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.